Hello. I am very glad to be back here this Thursday evening. It's been a while. Thank you for the people who sent the wonderful emails encouraging me to continue my podcast, and I decided that I would. I have been away mostly because I've been very, very busy. Um, I not only teach, I have a second job as well. And for most of you all who know me, you know that my son moved out in January. So this podcast is going to be about letting go. How do you let go? How do you let go of the people in your life that you truly care about? And I could not find it in my heart to let go of my son. Now, for most of you who are not a single mother, or maybe my audience is not of single mothers, but of married people, but most of you who listen to me are single parents, single moms, single dads. And you could probably relate to what I'm talking about. It's always been me and my son. Through thick, through thin, through the good times, through the bad times, through all the storms, me and my son. And I hoped that my son would be with me until it was time for him to just to move on. I didn't think it would be so soon, though. He just turned 20 a couple of weeks ago. So letting go was very difficult for me. In January, it was the middle of January, I got home one evening, and my son came out of his room with a lot of suitcases and bags, and I was like, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm moving out. I got a place." He had not talked to me about it. He had not mentioned anything. I know that last year he were talking about moving out, and that faded. That conversation ended because he never brought it up again. But all of a sudden that evening when I got home, he had his things packed and he was like, "I've got my place. I'm got somebody to help me, and I'm gone." Wait a minute. Hold on. I was just lost for words. I felt so abandoned. I could not believe my son, my little Twinkie, my little angel, was leaving me. I took it personal. I took it every which way you could think of. I took it. He didn't actually move out that evening. He took his things to his new place in the West End of Richmond, and he left that Saturday. And I helped with some of his things. There was no way I could convince him to stay. He had already signed the lease. He had already signed the lease for a whole year. I tried everything in my power to persuade him to stay. I told him he wasn't ready. I told him the things that happened to me when I was his age and I tried to move out, and God stopped me. The Lord said to me one night, he said, do not put your negative experiences on him. He might just be successful. You need to support him. I didn't know how. I felt so abandoned, and God said, it's not about you. I didn't want to be alone. I felt like he was abandoning me. I thought that it would be us together against the world. But I had to let him go. I cried for weeks. I cried for weeks. And then one day, I felt the Lord was speaking to me. And I went to my Bible, and there was this chapter about the parable of the prodigal son. And when I read that, everything started to fall into place. So I'm going to read it to you. And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in reckless living. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into fields to feed pigs. And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. And bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. Now his oldest son was in the field. And as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. But he answered his father, look, these many years I've served you, and I've never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost and is found. I love that. God was trying to tell me that I had to let my son go. I had to support him. I had to stop, take a step back, and let him go. God was telling me that whatever happened when I was my son's age happened to me. Don't put what happened to me on my son and keep him stuck and keep him from not moving forward. God said, you got to support him because he is now a man. Now, whatever mistakes he make, that's on him. But always be there. Leave that door open just in case. Just in case. It wasn't about me. I was trying to make it about me. I felt abandoned. I felt hurt. I didn't want him to leave me. But I had to let him go so that he could move forward and he could live his life and see all the things that he's supposed to see that he couldn't see if he was living with me. Sometimes we want to keep people. We want to keep people with us. But what that does is it keeps us from growing. It keeps us stuck. And it keeps the people that we love the most from moving forward. I didn't want my son to be stuck. I wanted him to move forward with his life. And if that meant leaving me, then I had to let him go. Now, what are some of the advantages that my son is gone? I don't have an expensive grocery bill. There's silence here now. But there are some nights that the snow, that it starts to snow. There are some nights that it's frosty in here. And it's because I miss him. Because I miss the sounds of him. And it's very hard. But I'm like that prodigal father. I'm like the father. I have compassion. I have a big heart. And my door's always going to be open regardless. I'm going to keep that door open because I'm learning a lot about myself. And I'm learning a lot about my son as well. He's not like me. He's not going to make the mistakes I made. He is his own separate individual. He's a man. And no one goes out there without making mistakes. But sometimes mistakes makes you stronger. Sometimes mistakes help you not to repeat them again. So I'm learning about letting go. I'm learning. I didn't want to let go, but I had to let go in order for peace, in order to continue to move forward, in order to be healthy. So for anyone out there who is finding difficulty in letting go, read The Prodigal Son. Pray on it. what I've learned is that through letting go, you're able to find so many things about yourself that you can either work on, that you can embrace, and that you can fall in love with. Since January, I have found out so many things about myself. Some good things, some bad things. Some things I want to embrace, and some things I'm just saying, getting rid of. So through the season of letting go, it's okay. It's okay. And I did just talk to my son today, and he's okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful emails again. And yes, I will continue. And thank you. Bye.